really what we're doing is we're going to be exploring how we can use blockchain technology, things that Ripple provides, our payment solution, our soon to be launched stablecoin, RLUSD, how those can help address some of the pain points, some of the friction that an organization such as IRC experiences.
This episode is brought to you by Gemini, which is one of the top crypto exchanges in the industry. I've been a user of Gemini for many years. They make it easy for you to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Gemini has a lot of unique features. They have a fully functional app, a credit card. They include staking on their platform, and they also have a stablecoin called Gemini Dollar, which is USD backed. And Gemini is certified, regulated, and licensed. They are available in 70 plus countries. And if you sign up using my code or link, which will be in the description, you can get $15 in Bitcoin when you trade your first $100. So if you'd like to learn more about Gemini, visit the link in the description.
Hey, everybody. I have Eric Van Miltenburg, who's the SVP of Strategic Initiatives at Ripple. Eric, great to see you. Great to have you on.
Tony, thanks for having me.
Eric, tell us a bit about yourself, your journey to crypto, and how you ended up in Ripple.
Sure. Well, I've been in tech for pretty much all of my career, starting back to date myself in the mid '90s in Silicon Valley. My first role was actually with a dial-up internet service provider, just to kind of prove my gray hair is for real. But really, the journey's been interesting. Always on the business side, ranging from business development, strategy, corporate development, general management, but always with internet companies, applications, kind of pushing the boundaries of where technology will go. And I joined Ripple almost 8 years ago, so it's been a while, 2016, and part of my attraction there was the fact that having been part of the early days of the commercialization of the internet, it was one of the most exciting periods in my career.
Sure.
And I saw a lot of similarities in what I thought would happen in the blockchain crypto space. Just a technology that had the opportunity to really be transformational, impact lives in ways we probably can't even imagine yet, make things more efficient, allow opportunities for folks of all backgrounds. And so to me, an opportunity to get in early with a company such as Ripple was incredibly attractive. So it's been 8 years, and it's lived up to all the expectations I had, if not more. Sure. So it's been a wonderful journey.
Well, you'd be considered an OG in the crypto industry.
Yeah, maybe. There's definitely those who've been around longer, but I've been here for a while.
Something you mentioned about seeing the potential of this technology because you were working in the industry, in the internet industry in the early days. So you see the maturation or iteration of the technology, but I don't think a lot of people realize this is just another iteration of the internet or another layer. And maybe that's part of the educational awareness that we have to do to help the masses to understand what this is.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I mean, people refer to this now as Web 3.0, right? Yeah. So it is a new version, if you will. It's interesting looking back to Ripple. You may know that the vision that the companies had from the very beginning was enabling the internet of value. This idea that value can move around as efficiently as data moves around on the internet today. And one of our co-founders, who's our current executive chairman, Chris Larson, has this great analogy he makes that there's really three legs of the stool to really unlock full potential for economies and globalization. One was just the efficient movement of physical goods. And he does a much better job than I ever would telling the story. But you think back to a very, very simple invention, which was a shipping container. There was a standard size that anywhere in the world, you'd have a shipping container that would allow you to move freight easily. And there's infrastructure on both ends of the physical world. Trains, trucks, ports that were all sort of built to accommodate this standardization. And so you saw trade go up dramatically.
Right.
The next wave was data, and that was the internet. And we all know that story. I won't bore you, but there were standards and there are things that allowed efficient movement. And the thing that is missing, and this is kind of what some of the origin stories and what Chris and team were thinking of when they really embarked upon the Ripple journey, was the sort of interoperability of value. The ability to move value as efficiently as physical goods and as efficiently as data moves today was lacking. And they really thought blockchain technology would be that technology that could unlock it. And so, yes, it comes in waves, and I think we're still in the early innings, as they say, but I think we're making progress.
Yeah, it's exciting. Now, tell us a bit about some of the initiatives you're working on at Ripple. I believe one of them is Ripple Impact.
Yes. Yeah. Very proud about Ripple Impact. So, it really is, going back to the origin stories of Ripple, it's in a bit of the company's DNA, this idea that this technology not only is good for business, but can be good to sort of unlock value and help some of the issues we're facing as a global society.
Sure.
We really have approached it in, I'd say, 3 or 4 different ways. Now, certainly Ripple Impact is our corporate-wide, sort of giving philanthropic arm, and so there's some of the more common elements of that represented. So we have employee volunteer, employee giving, ways to give back to our communities when there are issues, emergencies, disasters in a location where we have physical presence in office. We will make a financial contribution, but beyond that, there's really 3 core planks of what we do. One's around education. We've gone to great lengths, and I'm happy to go into detail, but we formed an initiative called the University Blockchain Research Initiative, or UBRI for short. And this is about making sure that students in universities around the world have the resources, material, support to understand this new technology and the impact it might have. We believe in sustainability. And the XRP ledger, which is a ledger that we leverage a lot in making the products and services that Ripple provide work, is a very, very low carbon footprint blockchain, especially compared to those that leverage things like proof of work.
Sure.
But beyond that, that's kind of a passion point, and there's things we can do to help advance sustainability issues. And third is really around financial inclusion, which, again, a huge need, but also the intersection of what Ripple's technology, making movement of funds more efficient, more secure, more reliable, lower cost.
Sure.
That can help advance some of the challenges that have been faced in terms of having a more inclusive economy, allowing folks that maybe haven't had the opportunity to participate in the global economy have those opportunities going forward. And so we have initiatives going in each of those. I think philosophically, we really believe in partnerships as we embark upon these Ripple Impact initiatives. It's not about writing a check and just kind of going away.
Right.
We look to partner with the organizations with whom we enter a relationship. There are multi-year sort of endeavors. We're looking to not only just bring money, but our technology and human capital. We have a bunch of very passionate, very talented people at Ripple, and allowing them to sort of help where they can, depending on the situation and the geography and everything else, really kind of makes it a very robust program.
With regards to the financial inclusion initiatives, so are you working in like developing countries, or even look, there's people in the United States who are unbanked, and tell us a bit about maybe some of those initiatives on a granular level.
Yeah, I'll call out a couple of things. One, we have a great partnership with Mercy Corps. And they have an arm within Mercy called Mercy Corps Ventures. And what they do is they help provide funding to entrepreneurs in developing economies that are looking to create new economic opportunity. And so we've provided support, and they're using that support to go and fund startups, entrepreneurs, especially around topics like fintech, banking, et cetera, et cetera. So again, trying to create sort of not just donate funds, but create momentum and opportunities and businesses and jobs within these markets that are really impactful. The other one, and the timing's great because we just announced something today. We announced a partnership we're entering into with the International Rescue Committee, or IRC, one of the largest humanitarian aid organizations in the world. And really what we're doing is we're going to be exploring how we can use blockchain technology things that Ripple provides, our payment solution, our soon to be launched stablecoin, RLUSD, how those can help address some of the pain points, some of the friction that an organization such as IRC experiences as they're trying to, in a very fast, secure, efficient way, move large amounts of funds to sometimes very remote places in the world. And it's critical. It's time urgent. Some of the delays and pain points that we've all experienced when we're trying to move money around the world. For us, it can be an inconvenience, maybe a little expensive. In the situations that the IRC is addressing, it could be the difference between life and death. So, we're really excited. And again, it's a partnership. We're not going to figure it out in day one.
Sure.
We're going to be exploring what works and kind of learning from them, and hopefully they'll be learning from us. And I'm really optimistic that we'll be making some real impact.
And to your point, like the RLUSD stablecoin, very timely because people want US dollars. And if you can give them a stablecoin where it instantly settles, there are less barriers and friction to move it.
Yeah, those things, absolutely. And then traceability. Unfortunately, with some of the movement of humanitarian aid, there's bad actors. And some of the funds, some of the resources go missing. But the fact that it's not physical cash, right? You don't have to put it in a crate and move it around. I'm joking. But the fact if it arrives and where it arrives, it can move in seconds over the block. These are really important characteristics that I think will prove really impactful going forward.
Oh, for sure. Talk to us a bit about the university initiatives and educating folks. Is it in the United States or in other countries as well?
It's global. That program is something we conceived of almost 7 years ago. It launched a little over 6 years ago. So the idea, and again, it's philanthropic. This is not an initiative that is focused on just Ripple or just the XRP ledger. It's about making sure that we're arming really the next generation of our workforce with the information and the knowledge they need to take advantage and be able to contribute to this really impactful technology. So we launched in 2018 with 18 universities in about 12 countries around the world. These are universities like Berkeley, Wharton, National University of Singapore, IIT Bombay, University College London. So it's a global program and it's multidisciplinary. It's not just focused on the engineering department or the economics department. We have public policy, we have legal. It's really looking holistically at how this technology can benefit and impact things. And kind of the interesting part is that initially, 6-7 years ago, many universities didn't have robust curriculum around teaching students about blockchain. So initially funds were focused more on just getting those courses developed and helping professors and the academics, provide the resources necessary. Fast forward 6 years, you're seeing a lot of schools already they get it. They have these programs, and we've shifted a lot of our funding and a lot of our support around research. So getting really in depth about specific topics, again, across all bunch of different disciplines. And, it's a program where we have committed $60 million to date. We've grown that population of universities to now almost 60 universities in 24 countries around the world. And one of the more satisfying things, when we first started this, we really thought that we'd have, kind of pairwise relationships. So we'd have a relationship with Berkeley and we'd interact with them and be great. And we'd have a, interaction with the University College London, et cetera, et cetera. What we quickly found out is they wanted to talk to each other. The power of networking, the power of learning what each other is doing and how they can build on that. So we've created an annual convening. It's called Uber Connect, where we just had the last one, which was the 6th edition in Zurich a couple of months ago. There's over 200 academics. They're presenting their research. They're kind of having ad hoc collaborations on new things they can work on. And it's really been satisfying for us to see that over the course of the project. I think over 600, 700 new curriculum, new courses, materials have been developed, thousands of research papers, 1,000+ fellowships, just hundreds of events, hackathons, et cetera, et cetera. So creating a forum, an opportunity for this new technology to really see the light of day, and in some ways, demystify it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if you look back on academia, starting with semiconductors, the internet, machine learning, they've been at the forefront at exposing the practical side, not just the, in the case of blockchain and crypto, not just the speculation and making a quick dollar, but how can we really use this technology to address real world problems? And so having partners like these universities around the world, working with us, again, an example of our philosophy. It's not a one and done. This is a multi-year program. We learn from each other and we kind of push each other to see where can we go next.
Absolutely. I love that. I'm big on education, and to your point, demystifying this technology to folks, you need people to be educated about it, and they can then go out and tell their community about it and their circle of family and friends.
100%.
Yeah. So definitely makes sense. And have you noticed that any of these universities, given that they're working on these initiatives, have started to adopt blockchain themselves, or is it still too early?
Yeah, absolutely. In different ways, in forums, we really wanted to emphasize that this should be hands-on. Many of them are actually running validators on the XRP network. A chance for them to, it's not just hypothetical ivory tower exercise.
Yeah,
they see the data, they use that data in kind of their studies and whatnot. Some have put on different programs in context about investing and how to create algorithms and whatnot. So they're really putting it to practical use, and that is really, really great. We've also been the beneficiary, kind of unexpectedly, but I think over the course of the UBRI program, we've probably hired 60 people into Ripple because they want to make sure that their graduates have a path to careers. They also are super interested in real world problems or questions for them to base their research on. So they're constantly pinging Ripple, either from a policy perspective, from an engineering perspective, like, what are you grappling with? We have two great, PhD students in computer science or what have you. We'd love for you to give us something to sink our teeth into, and we love that too. Our engineering team's pretty busy day to day doing their job, and they have these things that they just don't get a chance to work on. If you get these super talented, smart students that can come and help us think through things, that's a nice byproduct benefit for both sides.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. And I know many of the university endowments have been investing in crypto in one way or another. So it's pretty amazing. But I love those initiatives. Is there anything else on your roadmap you want to highlight that may be coming up, into early next year?
Well, I mean, we're sitting here in Miami right now. Our annual conference, Swell, is going on. And certainly, there's some things we've been doing locally. We established an office here in Miami a couple of years ago, and back to that idea of giving back to our local communities. We're leaning into that here. Certainly, our thoughts go out to everybody who's been affected over the last month by both Helene and Milton, the huge hurricanes. It's just devastating to see. And we announced yesterday that as a company, we're going to make a contribution of $250,000 to the World Central Kitchen and to the Florida Disaster Fund, two local, super, high integrity organizations that are doing amazing work quickly to address the needs of those that have been impacted. So, and with World Central Kitchen, we've had an ongoing partnership. So again, not just a one and done. Additionally, we're partnering with the Nicholas Children's Hospital, so a local pediatric hospital here in Miami. We made a $25,000 donation to them recently, and we really see that as a start of a long-term partnership. They are doing just amazing work with children here and have been doing so for years. Had a chance to meet one of their representatives at the event yesterday, and just hearing the scope of what they do and the impact, not just frankly for Florida, but really a much broader geography, if you will, is inspiring. And so, we're starting with that donation. Our employees in the Miami office are going to be participating in their their toy drive that's happening
yeah.
over the holidays. And I think,
Nice.
you know, we have experience in doing this in other places. In London, we have a relationship with a local children's hospital called, Great Ormond Street Hospital, where we've probably raised over £100,000 for them over the past couple of years. And our employees go and help out the hospital. They are a sponsor for the London Marathon, and our employees are out helping volunteer at the event. So we view this again as a great way to give back. And, you know, it's very timely and topical since we're here in Miami, and we're very excited about that.
I love it. Great stuff. Eric, thank you so much.
Oh, 100%. Tony, it was a pleasure. Good chatting with you.